Yo, what is up guys, Sakari here, back again with another banger of a video for Wuthering Waves. Today I have something very exciting to show. Yes, you are seeing Wuthering Waves running at higher than 60 frames a second. Now, I do want to preface this by saying two things. First of all, yes, I am well aware that the FPS is not very consistent to 120 frames a second like we were supposed to get at launch, but at the very least it is higher than 60 frames a second, and depending on your computer and how high-end your computer is, you may get better results than I will. Now, the second thing is, before we get into exactly how this is done, I just want to say that I am not responsible for anything that may happen to your account by using anything that I show off in this video. Please use everything that you see here at your own discretion, as I am. So how exactly did I figure out about how to get Wuthering Waves higher than 60 frames a second? So I was going through the official Wuthering Waves subreddit and I found this post made a couple hours ago by Embarrassed Farm 529, where they basically explained with a couple of images and some proof on how exactly to go about getting your Wuthering Waves frame rate to go past 60. So in this video I'm going to basically go through a mini tutorial of how exactly to get your Wuthering Waves game to go past 60 frames a second, and we'll talk about what I found from doing this process. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is grab DB Browser for SQLite, the latest release for it, off of GitHub. I will include a link in the description for this, along with everything else that you're going to need to do this. So basically you're just going to scroll down from here until you find assets, and you are going to want to download the third option here, db.browser for SQLite-3.12.2-win64.msi. I've already downloaded it, so once you open the .msi file, it will open up a setup wizard for DB Browser, and basically just agree. So the one thing that you're going to want to do is create a shortcut on your desktop. Just click this box right here for DB Browser SQLite. That's how we're going to be able to get past 60 frames a second. And then just click next, install. Yes. And finish. So once you have everything installed for DB Browser, it should show up somewhere on your desktop. For me, it showed up on the left side of mine. But once it's downloaded, just open it up. Now, I know this is a lot to look at, but there's really only two things that we're going to do here. The first thing is we're going to click Open Database. Now, thankfully, since I already did this before recording this, I already have the exact location for the file that I need to be able to go past 60 frames a second in Wuthering. I will also include in the description the path for being able to find this file, so that way it's easier. But basically, you're going to want to open up this file, localstorage.db. Once you've opened it, you are going to want to then click Browse Data, and then it's going to open up this big chart here. The only thing that you need to click on from here is this box under the value column. Right next to it, it'll say game quality setting, and then all you are going to want to do is go to this right side here, this top line where it says key custom frame rate. You're gonna take that number. For you guys it should be 60, but for me I've already set it to 120, so that's why mine says 120. And then once you've changed the number from 60 to 120, click the X. You should get a pop-up box asking whether you want to save your changes or discard them. Make sure to click save. Program will close out, and then just launch Wuthering Waves like normal. Now, a couple other things that I want to touch on while I was messing around with the frame rate. You may notice in the performance section that I have on screen that the thing that's being used up the most is my RAM. So I do have 16 gigabytes of RAM. I have an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X 8-core processor and a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 Ti. So overall, I was very surprised at how much my resources were being consumed by simply changing the frame rate value from 60 to 120, and even more surprising was the fact that I couldn't even keep it at a consistent 120 when I was in combat. What I think this ultimately is just poor optimization, and that's why they haven't included the 120 FPS option in the final build yet. However, I think that it's still better to play with this than to play with the 60 FPS option, because even though it isn't exactly 120, I think anything higher than 60 is better than nothing. So I do think that this is worth giving a go if you really are trying to get higher than 60 FPS and you, just like me, are willing to do whatever it takes. But anyway, that's going to be the video here. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Day 1 has been a wild ride, but so far, me personally, I'm very happy with Wuthering Waves, and I cannot wait to see how far this game goes. So again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Take care.